Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another video. This video was long overdue, and first and foremost, I want to apologize for that. I was on vacation and forgot to make a post that I would be doing that. But here we are. If you can see by the title right here, Persona 4 Revival. So we are going to take a complete deep dive. I'm going to give my full thoughts and opinions on them for one, and for two, a lot of the expectations that I have for this game, and like a lot of the animation quality that I think, is really good in some cases, not amazing in others, but we'll get to that point when we come to it. So if you like this video, make sure to like, subscribe, do what you need to do. YouTube, you already know. But I won't waste any more of your time. Let's get into it. Just had to make sure I got the mature in there. So starting off right here, this is normal, the Atlas logo. We all know this. Very dynamic facial features, which was kind of a large complaint that I had with Reload, was Makoto looked nearly the exact same like facial expression every single time he was in a scene. So I'm really happy that this is here. Hello, there we go. So this is another big one. I saw a bunch of complaints about this. The UI right up here is very, very, very simple. I think it's a lot simpler than what it should be. And I know a lot of people had a ton of problems with it. I kind of think it's just one of those things that happened with Reload, where it's like we'll look at this and we'll get used to it over time. But first rising thoughts is, yeah, they could have absolutely done this a lot better, especially with the capabilities that they had. They have a much larger team now compared to when they first released Persona 4, and this looks worse than what it used to, and that's not good. A lot of people were complaining about Yosuke sprite. I don't see it. The only thing that's kind of weird to him is his hair's like super specked out right here. Other than that, I think Yosuke looks perfectly fine. Also, the text box UI, not amazing, not horrible. I think it definitely is serviceable. There's nothing I'm like seeing over here, any like secrets. Reach out to the truth, obviously. Very nice animation quality, new cutscenes. So this is another point I wanted to pause on, and I think it's a bit different than what Persona 3 versus Persona 3 Reload had, because Reload's animation quality was the worst, hands down, the worst part about that game. The animation quality that, like, through cutscenes, I guess I should say, was, in my opinion, even worse than what the original Persona 3 was, and that released in 2006, and that is a problem. However, we have not seen everything yet. His hair kind of looks a little weird. That doesn't scare me too much. This looks great. Although, I would be very upset if they ended up going in the same direction that they did for Reload, because Reload lost a lot of the magic in the cutscenes, and for one, it was very slow, it was very finicky, and for two, it lost a lot of the hard-gripping emotion that the original 3 portrayed, and that's not good, especially with a game as old as that. Now, battle animation, that looks amazing. This looks amazing too. Nice critical. Velvet Room looks about the same. Igor did get his voice actor seemingly changed, if I had to take a guess. Well, I mean, I think I kind of know why, but he doesn't sound the exact same in Reload. Maybe I'm crazy, but I don't hear it. So Let me know your thoughts on that. But I thought Igor sounded really different. But that's just me. So this cutscene quality too is really, really good, and I'm really happy what they did with this. So seemingly this is what the status is going to look like, at least the party section, as you can see right here. Level 18, this all seems the same. You can view your persona right here. The part that I'm, you can take the social stats down here. Of course, Yukiko wouldn't have any, but the part that I'm really focused on is the quality that Yukiko has right here. I'm going to naturally assume that all of them have the same amount of quality, and if they do, I'm really excited. Yukiko looks super nice here. I think they did her kind of artistry really, really well. And especially at this point, funny enough, you can actually see that they still only have 4 teammates. This would be you, Yosuke, Chie, Yukiko. So this is after Yukiko's palace. Not that that changes anything, but it's just interesting to note. Here's another one. Yukiko's sprite is, in my opinion, the best in the game, and Yukiko is not even my favorite. Like, she's not even my favorite person in the game. In fact, I wouldn't even put her top 3 in the best characters category of this game, but her sprite looks probably the best out of them all, especially her 3D model. Her 3D model looks amazing. Really refined what it was back in the original Persona 4 and Persona 4 Golden. I think she looks great here. I'm not too worried about her.
Doesn't it sound cool? Someone had to see
that. Yosuke's model looks fine. Nothing too bad. A lot of people were complaining about him. Again, nothing too bad. And here's where we get to my first problem with the trailer. This shot alone, upon breakdown, makes kind of nervous, because before I said I really liked how Yuno Arakami's face was static, and he actually gave a face and stuff. What is this? What is he doing? He's giving her a death stare. Is that just me? But what is he doing? He looks so weird. That doesn't look right to me. For one. 2, was this the best we could do? I mean, her model isn't horrible. Could definitely be better. This looks weird. I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm just more used to Chie from Golden and Original, but that doesn't look right. Just something about it.
Supposed to be him?
Let's go back here. There we go. So a few things to note here. One, you can now see social links. For one, you get a mini map on just regular Inaba. 2, you get this little quest, almost similar to that of Persona 5, where it tells you what you need. It tells you what you're trying to do. I do need to refresh my memory a little bit. I don't believe this was in the original. In fact, I'm almost certain this was not in the original. So that'd be pretty cool. It's not a huge game changer, but it definitely would help. 3, you can see the social links on the minimap, which I kind of said before, but you can see the social links on the minimap and the shop icons and the vending machine. I don't know what this question mark would be. 4, what is Vox Populi? This struck out to me as well. Very interesting. I apologize about that, but back to what I was saying before, Vox Populi. What is that? There was nothing in the original game that meant Vox Populi. I don't know what that is. That's going to be a new mechanic. Seemingly as well, you can save anywhere now. You do not have to go to the butterflies, which you did in 4. Not necessarily groundbreaking. I think because I was going to think it was to look at the status of your teammates, but then you have menu right here, which I assume you just scroll down to status like you do for all the other games. So I have no idea what that is. I guess we'll find out, or maybe some of you guys know in the comments. Let me know. You can still see text, which is good. Of course, they weren't going to take that out. Inaba looks fine. A little bit. Now, that could definitely just be my computer, but looks a little bit underdeveloped. But, you know, that's just personally my opinion. I know a lot of people were happy about this. I know a lot of people weren't happy about this, and that's okay. Boom. This, though, looks, in my opinion, really good. The rain, super dynamic looking. You got puddles over here, like somebody's worthy to talk. There's Vox Populi again. The river looks amazing. The bridge over it looks amazing. I think the floodplain looks great. I don't know if it's going to be called the floodplain, because right down here it says Samagawa River, which I believe it does in the original game, but it's also called the floodplain right up here. This could also potentially be a new area. Oh, you know what this is? No, this is leading to Inaba. Okay, well, I sound stupid right now, but I believe this is leading to Inaba. And that'd be great.
Good times never seem to last.
Fishing is back. It tells you what bait you're using. Core mechanics basically seem about the same. Quality looks great, except for the puddle. Again, what are we doing there? What is this down here as well? Is it just a wave, and it just happens to look like something weird when I paused it? Barriers over here. Everything looks basically good from here. Oh, no, that's a rock. Karaoke looks fine. Yosuke looks kind of goofy, but, like, in a good way. I don't really have a huge complaint, but it just kind of makes me giggle a little bit. Like, he's definitely eyeing him up, but...
I hate you.
So this was huge. I remember reacting to this in, well, my reaction video, but I made it a huge, like, shock that I did not think Marie was going to be in the game, because everybody said, what are you going to do with Marie? And I saw a lot of people saying that they were going to add her, and I basically said that I didn't see it happening, because a lot of the stuff they did in Reload, the only exception being I guess a social link, they did not include in Reload that was originally in Portable, FES, and just the original in general. They ended up adding episode Aegis, or The Answer, directly after in a DLC a few months later. And I didn't think they were going to do that for Marie, but this also brings up a good point I saw on Instagram. If you're going to have Mari, why, which very clearly shows us that they're implementing Golden over just base 4, why don't you have Katone? And this was an argument that I had made in defense of Atlas, saying that it would cost them a lot of money, and like you basically have to make an entirely new game, like in the genuine social sphere. And of course they don't want to do that. They want to focus more so on their future projects, such as, you know, Revival, and now Persona 6, apparently, because we know that's coming out now. A lot of people don't like Mari. A lot of people really like Mari. I'm somewhere indifferent. I think she's fine. I think she's a good character. Her social link is a pretty interesting one. Her trying to find herself and her worth again is one of my favorite aspects of a character, which is why I like Aegis so much as well, because that was her entire social link too, and her character arc was her finding who she really is and what it means to be human, which Marie isn't doing exactly that. She's kind of doing a turn on it, but that's what's important. And also, again, you look like you're crazy, dude. Did they just have such confidence in their like face scanning that they just made him static all the time? Because there's just something weird about this. Unless this is his hair, but I'm pretty sure that's his eye, like right there. But Velvet Room looks basically the same. I like you actually like being by Mari and talking to her. She looks about the same. Her sprite looks really nice, but it looks exactly like the one in Golden almost. Like it's kind of a spot on image, really, just with a bit higher quality. But I think she's fine. Nanako just looking cute as always. I love Nanako, dude. Her 3D model looks amazing. Her sprite looks amazing. And honestly, I said before that Yukiko's is probably the best sprite. I changed my mind. It's definitely Nanako. And I really hope that we get to spend more time with her, more than we already do with her social link. Maybe they should do like link episodes like they did in Persona 3, but like just with like the Dojimas and you. That would be super cool. And like it would actually give us like more with Nanako and Father Dojima. I'm really blanking on his name right now, but I've always just called him Dojima. I hope we get that. So, it kind of it would also kind of reinforce and defend Dojima for being a much better father. But also I could see a lot of people getting really upset at that, saying that was the reason his character was what he was, is because he wasn't a great father. He wasn't there when Nanako needed him. He was so involved with his work and the passing of Nanako's mom and all of this. I think it would be fine. I know a lot of people would get a little upset at it, but those are just my thoughts. I mean, it's Naoto. Like, you can't go wrong with Naoto. But, again, what are you doing? Also, I didn't realize Naoto was so short. Which, like, I knew she was short, but not that short. But I also think Yu is tall. I think he's the tallest protagonist, but I don't like this. This is okay, I guess. I don't know what it is. She looks like a turtle. I don't know. There's something about it. But the school doesn't look any different. I do kind of like the blur in the background here. There's not really any over here, but there's a lot over here. Some people will say that's low quality. I'll just say that's blur. What did they do to my girl, man? Ugh. This looks great. This is not. I don't know. There's just something about it I don't like. Really like the clouds though. While not like popping out, it's very subtle. I guess in order to show you the difference between A, the fog, and B, the clouds, because it's just cloudy. I don't believe it's foggy on 723. I could be wrong, but this is another okay one. Could be better, could be worse. We don't see enough of the sprite for me to fully comment on it yet. Or his 3D model, I guess I should say. We only see him from this side, I believe. Not horrible. Animation looks fun. Teddy's voice is weird. And I like it so much more. I know this is a really hot take. Really, really hot take, because I saw so many people complaining about this. I think Teddy's voice actor is so much better than what Teddy's was in the original and Golden. haha, the enemy got away, was like, and just his voice was a huge reason as to why I didn't like Teddy as much as I probably should have, because I just thought it was annoying. I think his voice actor now is great. Of course, I haven't seen the full game. This is the only thing he says in this entire trailer, but just from this line alone, so much better. Another great animation. Really like the shading on his hand, looks realistic. Like stuff like this, which didn't show up in 3, is just so much better. But the picture, that looks nice. We actually get to look at it now. I don't think we got to look at it in the original. Here we go. I'm gonna let this play out. Am I jumping the gun to say that this is possibly the greatest animation that Atlas has ever had? There is nothing wrong with this animation. It looks absolutely perfect. First, Chie going insane because her shadow's over there. Her shadow trying to persuade her looks, again, amazing. And especially this part. Not that part. This part is amazing. Absolutely love the colors. I think it looks stellar. They outdid themselves with this one. And that too. Amazing. So, there's another thing I wanted to comment on. So, this, he's obviously using Zeo. Is this for every single weakness or just when you discover one? Because my natural assumption is it's just when you discover a weakness or hit a critical hit. It's the intolerant officer, so I don't... Well, obviously his weakness is electricity, but we aren't given enough to where we can necessarily understand how many times he used Zeo prior to this. Because if it's every weakness, don't get me wrong, this animation's amazing, and it's so clean and effective. It'll get really old really quickly if it's every weakness every single time, though. That'll get annoying. But if it's just like it shows up once in a while, it will be absolutely stellar. This is, again, some of the best animation work that they have ever produced. Another thing I wanted to comment on, the portraits. I don't have a problem with them. I think they look fine. Nothing out of the ordinary. This scares me. Because while personally, I do not care, a lot of people had huge frustrations with the fusion system, or not the fusion system, the theurgy system in Persona 3 Reload. Because even I, as a guy who really liked theurgy and thought they did it really well, makes the game baby, which a lot of people really did not like. I didn't mind because I don't like when games are super challenging. I prefer games where I just get in there, I enjoy the story, and there's not much of a struggle. So this doesn't bother me. However, people are going to get really upset by this because essentially this is Atlas saying, we know it makes it easier, we don't care, and we're going to add it anyway. Second off, what is this bar? What does this do? You know, because I doubt they'll just straight up copy theurgy like they did in Reload. This is definitely something different, and I have a theory that we'll get to in just a second. But people are not going to be happy about that. Oh, so there we go. It tells you this is the first weakness. Okay, so I'm not too nervous about that anymore. Baton passes back. Animation looks great. Great. This is gonna also piss a lot of people off. You can block. And from my understanding, he holds this up for a long time. Meaning you can hold it up and it'll just work effectively. So is there even going to be an enemy advantage at this point? Because I see. I did just say a little bit ago that I do like when games are not challenging. That's a personal preference. Um, this though is absurd. If you can hold it out for this long and block an attack and just essentially get advantage automatically every single time you block, that's a problem. That makes the game way too easy, because then at that point, now maybe they'll do something where it's like sometimes it'll work, sometimes it won't. Sometimes they'll ambush you instead. And I think that balance will work fine. It's just if it works every single time, this is going to get too easy. Advantage looks super good. Attack animation looks super good. All right, so Baton Pass is available. But prime, so they're calling it prime time. That's what this is called. It's not Theurgy. Now a series finale. Was that the same thing as prime time? Also, just wanted to comment. The screens up here look super cool. I thought it was super unique and dynamic that like when you're, I guess I'll call it like in the zone or like definitely have player advantage. Probably a series finale is ready. That this turns and it's almost like home field advantage in like football and basketball, and that's super cool. I think that it would be super fun to play with. Great animation. Great animation. Amazing animation. All out attack. So this was unique for one. Actually, I'll let this play out. February 18th. So, I have a lot of thoughts about this. This says right here. Let's go real quick. All out attack. This is basic all out attack. The meter is not full. Is this an all out attack every single time you perform an all out attack? You seemingly cross slashes, or maybe it's something different. I don't know, but because even up here, Teddy says, "Are you ready for an all out attack?" Animation looks great. Chie running to the side kind of cracks me up because then she just dive bombs in. I don't know who this is. This is definitely Yosuke. This is probably Yukiko. Great animation. Great animation. Cross slash looks absolutely spectacular. It looks like it should be a Smash Ultimate. And my again, is this included in every all out attack, or is this in some, or is this just like for the trailer exclusively to make it look good? Because if it does that, I think that'd be super cool. Similar to that, like, I don't know, sometimes it'll show up and like re-say, or maybe it's when you kill an enemy. I think that would be super cool as well. But other than that, we basically have everything that we have. February 18, 2027. Play day one on Game Pass, which is super fun. Oh, actually, it says it right here. That'll be super fun. PS5, Steam gets it as well. It's kind of funny how Persona for a very long time was a PlayStation exclusive, and now they have like all the Xbox stuff as the focal point. Like Xbox Game Pass, Xbox Play Anywhere, Xbox Series X or S, Xbox on PC, Xbox Cloud, and then Steam and PS5 just have a really small like subsection down there. I think that's super. It's not like anything groundbreaking or anything, but that's super funny and ironic that they used to be mutually exclusive to PlayStation. Now they treat it like they were mutually exclusive on Xbox. I believe that's it. Yes, it is. So my overall thoughts, I see a lot of criticism online that I don't agree with at all.
But there are some that I definitely agree with. I think the game has numerous more like perks than it does like downsides to it. I think a lot of people are going to get really mad at the difficulty again, as they always do. This has been like the 5th Persona game in a row where people have complained and complained about the difficulty, because now you have this, which seemingly like makes it easy again. And then you have Reload, which that was the main criticism about the game, was that it was too easy. Royal, people said, was super easy because you get to cheat, basically. I guess people didn't say Persona 5 was necessarily too difficult or too easy. It definitely was easy. It wasn't to the level that Royal, Reload, and now Revival are at. So it should be interesting. I, for one, am super excited for this game. I think my original thoughts where they first released it, when they first teased it like a year ago, were not amazing. And I thought, wow, this is going to be rough. They really stepped it up in the year that they had. They definitely finished a lot of development. And I assume they still have a lot more development until February. But overall, those are my basic thoughts about Persona 4. Like I said, if you're all the way through here, honestly, I feel like I deserve a subscription. But also, thank you so much for, just listening to a random guy talk about this on the internet. I appreciate you for doing that, for sure. I know this is a bit of a long one, and I apologize for that. I just had a ton of thoughts that I had marinated while I was on vacation. Kind of breaking down the trailer. I have a list of like full things that I really enjoyed and really didn't enjoy. Maybe I'll make, I don't really see the need to make that into another video, but I had a ton of other videos planned in mind. Like I was going to do like a full breakdown of the NBA finals at some point. I don't know if I'll end up doing that, because contrary to popular belief, I do love sports, and I would like to talk about baseball and football and basketball a little bit more. We'll kind of see how things play out. If they play out fine, then I might. But for now, Persona 4 Revival, forever.